Hello everyone and welcome to Grokcast. This is episode 3. And today I have my friend Max with me. Hi Max.
Hello, how's it going?
All is well. So yes, just an introduction quickly. Max and I have been friends for a long time. We've played back in the day. You might remember him if you are a long-time subscriber from the days when we used to play Minecraft together on the Dinosaurs server. He was one of the first members over there. And so yes, we've known each other for a long time. And we have spoken about the sorts of things that I like to speak about and that I'm doing now on the channel. That is to say, belief and God and these types of things, but not to any profound degree. And so today it's going to be a bit of a discovery for both of us. Actually, I think Zam knows more about my thoughts on this than I know about his.
Jody likes sharing his thoughts.
Yes, I do. It's a bad habit. So, okay, go ahead, Max. Tell the listeners a little bit about who you are, where you're from, first of all, and what you do.
So I'm from Chicago, Illinois. And yeah, I'm a massage therapist, and I work with dogs, and I actually plan on becoming a canine massage therapist, as well as possibly other animals, because I love the animals.
Indeed, this is one thing that I really do like about you, the fact that you are an animal lover.
A lot more than people. No offense, but I mean, come on.
Yes, I understand perfectly. And as I often say, I do wish that one day you'd extend that care to chickens and cows and pigs as well.
Yeah, true. But we'll see. They're pretty delicious.
Yes. Well, I recently did a video that I think you should go and watch. I respond exactly to that statement.
Yeah, I do have it. I have it on the list. I have it on my watch later list that I made it about halfway through. I made it halfway through the list, so I should get to it tonight.
Excellent. But okay, so we are going to, I think, start just by seeing your childhood. How did you... I know that you were Christian, a general Christian, and I know that your mother and father were both Catholic. But yeah, tell us a bit more about that. How was it being a child, and how did you see God and religion?
Yeah, I mean, it was, for the most part, it was just kind of, like, I mean, there was never a question. It was just, like, what we did. Like families go to church, and, like, there wasn't a strong... I guess there was kind of a strong inclination towards it because there wasn't anything else introduced. Like, it was what we did. It was what I believed, because it was what I was taken to learn, sort of thing. And
we will be getting into this later, the fact that your mother is a Reiki master. But I'm just curious, has she always been into that sort of thing? Like, when you were a child, was that already a thing?
No, so she was raised Catholic. My dad was also raised Catholic. I think my dad kind of grew into non-religious, and she kind of grew into... I'm not sure specifically, like, if she disagreed with the Catholics or if she just wanted something different. But she was more, I guess, free-form Christian, if that makes sense. Like, we went to... So there was someone who did, like, a fellowship, which was kind of like Bible study sort of thing. So, I mean, it wasn't a traditional church. It was, I mean, he just ran it out of his house. So, I mean, that was kind of cool.
It like, seems suspiciously cultish.
Yeah, it figures you'd think that. But yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't anything crazy at all. It was like, I mean, they had like the kids Bible study or whatever upstairs, and then the adults had downstairs. They did speak in tongues every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I guess that's a point for the cultish side, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, that's
but
widespread enough that it's like not even
yeah,
too strange, which is crazy. But yeah, speaking tongues, I've never gotten that. Even in my Christian days, I just sort of looked at it and thought, "What?"
I mean, it was always a little weird for me. I guess, yeah, like, I guess I had never gotten to the point with them where it was, like, fully explained to me. And I guess it's for the most part, I think it's kind of like a meditative sort of practice, but, like, for the Christians, because you're basically just saying whatever your tongue lets out, essentially. You're babbling, sort of. And then,
Yes.
like, they would always ask to translate. So I think, like, it at a psychological level, I think it was like you're just letting go and you're just letting absolute madness come out of your mouth, and then when you translate, you're kind of doing the same thing but with words that you understand. So it's kind of like, you know, those stories where they tell you to, like, write for a minute or 3 minutes and, like, don't stop, like, whatever comes to your mind, sort of thing.
Yes.
I
Yes,
think
indeed.
that was kind of the idea behind it.
Okay. Yeah, that I've never really looked into that, and it is something that I would like to at some point. And but yeah, as you say, you weren't really into that. And what about? I think I've asked this question before of you, like doubts or questions that came to your mind. Did nothing make you think? Because right now you are still sort of Christian, right?
Yeah, I guess I would say that. Like, yeah, I mean, I still believe in God because there's nothing. I guess I haven't seen anything that's really made me, like, think, like, no, there's no way that's possible. Like, my philosophy is sort of like science. So, like, science doesn't disprove him, he doesn't disprove science. Like, they can all coexist, sort of thing. So there's, like, no reason for me to, like, renounce it, because there's nothing that says, like, this is an evil or bad or untrue thing,
Okay.
which I know you disagree with. But
Well, I mean, that's the thing. The fact that that God is in fact an unfalsifiable idea, not the Christian God, but the idea of a God, an omnipotent God. That is exactly what makes it. What should make you not consider it as a serious thing, at least thinking scientifically. If you can't test a hypothesis, it's just thrown out, you know? And yeah, that's. But I want to talk about that a bit later. But yeah, back to your doubts. Was there anything that made you think?
yeah, so as a kid, not really, because I mean that was just like, I'm not sure if there's, like, psychological reasons behind it, but, like, there was never any reason to question anything. That's just, like, it's what you were taught, so you take it, you accept it. There's nothing that makes you question it, sort of thing. So, like, as a kid, no. I think as when I took my comparative religions class in college, like, that's the only time where I kind of I won't say doubted, like, the religion necessarily, but doubted the Bible, like, especially learning that, like, it was cherry picked by people in power, and
Yes, that's right. Constantine.
give me your money, and social norms can be established that way, and it's just it's very sketchy. And especially, like, hearing of, like, there's several books and there's things that have controversial ideas in them where the religious leaders were like, no, that we can't have that, there's no way, just bury it, go away, sort of deal. So
Yes,
I
that's
guess
famous.
that would, yeah.
Okay, so all right, I see what you're saying. You seem to be a sort of progressive Christian, but I'd still like to see to what degree are you in fact Christian, because to be a Christian you have to believe that we are all born in sin and that we need to be saved by accepting Jesus as not only the prophet but the actual Messiah, who through him we are saved and only through him. And so, is that in fact what you believe?
I don't know. Probably not. Though I guess the way I like to phrase my belief is I'm not religious, but I believe in God, sort of thing. Like I believe in that the power sort of thing.
Okay,
But yeah,
so
I really don't know.
okay, I like that answer. It's always like I like it when people say they don't know. You know, it's the one honest answer that it's a good place to start from. But I was going to say, I think it seems to me that maybe you are afraid of, not afraid, but just it's like that you've never really thought, actually, I'm not Christian. You know, you never had maybe the courage to say that publicly.
Well, and I mean, I suppose, yeah. I mean, it's because it's something you're like as raised with it as a kid, like. That's like the only thing that's in there. It's like if you were raised in a scientific household and then someone tells you the world's flat, or conversely, if you're raised thinking the world's flat and then someone comes around and says, "Hey, no, it's round and here's the proof for it," and you're like, "What the hell, man? No, it's just no, go away. I reject your idea."
Yes, indeed. Cognitive dissonance in action. Okay, well, I totally get that. I think that things could have been very different for me. I mean, I'm not sure how. I probably would not have ever stayed a Christian, but the thing that forced me to admit or to realize that I wasn't actually a Christian was the fact that in school I was a rebel. At one point, because of all the things I would be saying and talking about in school, my friend, we were talking about this issue, and he said something like, "Okay, so actually, if you're saying that, then actually you're not really Christian, are you?" And I was like, I stopped, and I remember my heart sort of was beating fast, and I said, well, "I guess not." You know, just like that, like, and I had never really said that before, even though I'd been rebelling against all the ideas in school. It was a religious, conservative school, and so it took that prompt, and once I had said it, then it was like I was free, you know.
I find it funny that you mentioned that, because now you sound like you're a follower of The Secret.
I do.
Yeah,
The power of words.
Thoughts are things, and the power of yeah.
Well, to a certain extent, thoughts are powerful, and they do influence your own mind to a great degree in whatever you do. But The Secret takes it too far by saying that you actually attract things in life, outer things, besides, you know, not your own mind. You're actually attracting things to you, which is, of course, just not true. It's not how it works at all. Which is another topic for another conversation, or even a In Grok We Trust episode. But, all right, so, yes, it seems you're not Christian, Max. and you really can not be Christian and still believe in some type of God. The founding fathers are a good example. They were just deists. They sort of thought, yes, there's a God that had to have created the universe, because at that stage there was no other way of thinking about it, no logical way of thinking about it. There had to have been some sort of creator, but they didn't actually subscribe to Christianity. All right, and so let's move on to the sort of magic side of things, because you've been playing with different ideas, right? And your mother's a Reiki master, so there's definitely influence there. So yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean she definitely. It's funny. She started all that before me, and it was so I mean there was a store here called Holistic Happenings, and it's actually where I work now. But she started going there for like meditations, and I remember her saying that, and I was just looking at her like, what? and like I was reluctant and nervous to try any of that, because I was like, is this like a cult sort of thing? And I mean, it kind of is, but it's a cool cult.
Is that wait? That was just from her doing meditations.
Yeah, I don't remember the details, but yeah, I remember meditations, and it might have been just some of the things. It might have been some of the other like magic things that she had mentioned or something like that. But I just remember being like reluctant to think about it, and like she would always ask me if I wanted to go, and I was like, I don't know about that, and there was just some weirdness around it for me.
Okay.
To start with, but I mean, eventually I did go, and I learned, oh, hey, look, this is a normal thing. We're not summoning demons or any of that. But yeah, I guess that's really where I started getting into all this, and like there were like different crystal classes and like the crystal magics and feeling the energy sort of thing, and that's kind of where I was introduced to it. And I mean, it's just a cool thought to, as you said, it's a cool thing to think that you can do all these things and feel these things, and it does make you feel powerful. And I mean,
that's right.
I still think I feel something, whether that's placebo effect or not. I mean, I don't know, but
yeah,
still cool.
Well, my brother and I, we talked about this in exactly the episode before this, which I think you haven't yet seen. You'll be very interested in it, I think, especially in that part of our conversation. But yes, he was also very much into this sort of thing with nature magic and in the key, believing in key and a universal life force that one can manipulate somehow. And he was saying how like he was going through a bit of a dark phase in his life, and doing those sort of things really made him. It was the one part of his life where he felt like he was in control, and that it was cool that he knew the secret knowledge that other people didn't know, and yeah, it really did help him in a certain way. So yeah, I mean, there is that benefit to it, I guess. But okay, so with the Reiki, your mother is now a master Reiki practitioner. What does it take to be a Reiki anything?
Well, you study under people. Like there's I want to say there's like 3 levels and then master. It might be 2 levels and then master. So yeah, she studied under Joanne. She's the Reiki practitioner at Holistic Happenings. And so basically you go through the classes, so the level 1, the level 2, and then the master or whatever.
But I'm curious as to how would you prove, like, to go, for example, from level 1 to level 2? How do you prove that you are...
I don't know the specifics of that because I haven't gone through it, but that's basically... So you would study under a, hopefully, ethical, Reiki master, and I'm not sure if there's any like official certifications in teaching that. I mean, it is an unregulated profession, so anytime you get an unregulated profession, you're going to get good people, you're going to get bad people who are just out to make a buck and will say, yeah, you good job, you did it, now go. But I mean, the person she studied under, I at least think is very reputable. And it basically comes down to their discretion sort of thing. I mean, it's like I would compare it to massage school. That is a very regulated profession. But it's not really any different than that. You're basically going to the classes, you're doing the work, you're turning it in, and if you get the passing grade, essentially, if the teachers deem you ready and capable and what's the word? But like capable, essentially.
Well, I'm just thinking
of doing it
with massage school. I imagine that there are real results. I mean, massage is a thing. You got to know the muscles very well in the body and what causes tension and how to relieve people of that tension. I don't know, massage therapy, as you say, yes, it's regulated because it seems to be a real thing. But with Reiki, like, even if it's a reputable person who is not out to just make money all the time, how would the results be measured? If, I mean, as far as I know, nobody's been able to measure the ki, or the life force.
Well, and that's that's the fun part of all of this energy stuff, is it's not something you can measure really. And I know there have been some studies like on Reiki, and it's been thought to help with some things, but as you mentioned before in one of our conversations, a lot of that could just be the
environment,
client taking the time for themselves, like relaxing and letting go. And
that's
I mean, in that sense, it's similar to a massage, minus the work of the massage.
Yeah, because there's a serious impact on the psyche when you you give yourself that time, first of all. And then when you're there, it's the music that's playing is very soothing. And there's somebody there that is dedicated to caring only for you in that hour or whatever it is. And
yeah, exactly.
Human contact does work wonders on our health. That's very well known.
You make me... It's true, and you make me think and further despise the prostitutes known as professional cuddlers.
You despise that? Like,
I went through massage school, and they're getting paid the same, if not more, money to just sit there. I mean, I'm not arguing that there isn't.
I see what you're saying.
Like a benefit to it, but I mean, all I'm saying is if that was made illegal, I'd be very happy. Or regulated, and they have to go to professional cuddler school for $15,000 or whatever.
So actually, I wasn't aware of this. I might have heard of it. Actually, there are people who pay other people just to be with them and cuddle with them as if they were in a relationship, I guess.
Yeah. It's, and from what I've seen of it, I'm pretty sure it's like the reputable ones, like there's no sexual anything. I mean, they're just kind of like, they'll lay there, they'll like spoon, like they'll talk like they're a couple. Yeah, like they'll like
that's interesting.
Have conversations and that sort of thing.
I wonder if they ever end up actually getting into a real relationship afterwards.
Well, I think you have the same danger as a prostitute.
But okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, it is, yeah. Oh, okay.
Sorry, yeah, I just want to get back because we're approaching 25 minutes. And, okay, just for the Reiki discussion. So, do you really believe that it works? That there's something to it, at least?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I feel something, like something slightly different than when I'm just like laying there meditating or something like that. And
because you did say that it can't be measured, and I'm just thinking, if it can't be measured, then how can there even be any effect? Because surely, if there is some sort of difference, if you relieve pain with it, then surely somebody who's competent relieves more pain more of the time than somebody who hasn't managed to learn how to manipulate the energy.
Well, and I think a lot of that would be too, like, I think it's probably something that most scientists wouldn't take seriously enough to study it. Like, I think there have been some studies, but it's been basic studies, like, not really considering, like, the person doing it. Like, there've not been in-depth studies because it is something that's hard, like a monk who's been studying it for like his whole life or their full life or something like that versus like someone who's just learned, sort of thing. Like, I think scientists are probably spending their times on other things.
Yes. Quite understandably. But
But
Okay.
yeah, like the only point I would mention with that is like the like in the light spectrum, like there's the X-rays, the gamma rays, the ultraviolet. Like there's the visible light, and then there's the light that we can't see, and there are ways to scan some of that. So I mean,
Oh yes.
there's some possibilities in there.
No, I mean the spectrum of light, visible and non-visible. That's of course clear. I mean, there's no disputing that there exist, like gamma rays and X-rays exist on the one side, and radio waves and X-rays, microwaves on the other. It's measurable. They exist, but the question is whether doing or practicing Reiki is manipulating any kind of wave. It's just not been shown ever. So I don't see how that can apply.
Right, and I'm like, the infrared light is, well, I'm not even sure. The infrared energy, I'm not sure. Is it light? I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, the definitions, I mean, they are waves. They're all wavelengths, and light, what we call light, is just infrared, the visible part of the spectrum.
Okay, so the infrared energy waves, what have you, is related to or comes off our bodies as heat, which we can sort of, kind of, well, I mean, it comes off regardless, but we can, like, through meditation, there's ways you can manipulate the heat coming off of your body, like with the controlling of your heart rate sort of thing. I mean, not directly, obviously, but like if you take the slow breaths and you calm yourself, like you'll slow down, you'll cool a little bit.
Yes, I have heard of
to some extent.
This type of thing. I mean, just with myself, I know that I can, at a thought, I can make my hands start to sweat. Like I'm doing right now. My hands just got all sticky because I'm thinking about it. And
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I developed this because I used to be a packer at a supermarket as a teenager on weekends. And it makes it a lot easier to open a plastic bag if your hands are sweaty.
This is true.
So I developed the superhero power of making my hands sweaty.
You should let the Avengers know of your powers.
But again, I don't think that at all, even if you somehow can develop that further and make heat radiate from your hands, that at best could just warm up your client, not heal their ailments.
I guess my only, that's my basis for there could be something to this. So I guess is it's like a case study, more or less. Like it's not definitive proof, but it's something that makes it somewhat plausible, at least in my mind.
Yeah. Well, I'd recommend to you and to all our listeners, and myself included, actually, because I haven't done much research on this. I did a bit before we spoke, to go and check what studies have been done with Reiki, because, yes, it's not really taken seriously in the scientific community, but it is a thing. It's a big thing, where lots of people are making money from this. So it is taken seriously by some people. So we should go and all better inform ourselves about what it is and
more you know.
What studies there have been done. All right. So our time is up, Sam or Max. So thank you very much for being on.
All right, not a problem. I hope to talk to you again in the future.
Yes, I'm sure we will. I mean, in our interactions while we're playing Overwatch or whatever we're doing, I'm sure we can think of something else to talk about for half an hour for another episode.
Other than, swearing at our team for throwing the game for us.
Yes, indeed. Oh, we should actually just play some Overwatch one day and record it, and just for something fun on the channel. Might be fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome.
But okay, thank you very much. So I'll see you later.
All right, have a good one.
Okay, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed that interview. And as usual, please click like if you liked the video. And if you are new, subscribe to the channel, because in that way, if you click on the bell afterwards, you'll be notified every time I post a video.
Yes, join his notification squad.
Shush you, you're not supposed to be here anymore. And yes, once again, thank you and goodbye. And these types of things, but not to any profound degree. And so today it's going to be a bit of a discovery for both of us. Actually, I think Zam knows more about my thoughts on this than I know about his.
Jody likes sharing his thoughts.
Yes, I do. It's a bad habit. So, okay, go ahead, Max. Tell the listeners a little bit about who you are, where you're from, first of all, and what you do.
So I'm from Chicago, Illinois. And yeah, I'm a massage therapist, and I work with dogs, and I actually plan on becoming a canine.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Grokcast. This is episode 3. And today I have my friend Max with me. Hi, Max.
Hello, how's it going?
All is well. So, yes, just an introduction quickly. Max and I have been friends for a long time. We've played, back in the day, you might remember him if you are a long-time subscriber from the days when we used to play Minecraft together on the Dinosaurs server. He was one of the first members over there. And so, yes, we've known each other for a long time. And we have spoken about the sorts of things that I like to speak about and that I'm doing now on the channel. That is to say, belief and God.
List that I made it about halfway through. I made it halfway through the list, so I should get to it tonight.
Excellent. But okay, so we are going to, I think, start just by seeing your childhood. How did you... I know that you were Christian, a general Christian, and I know that your mother and father were both Catholic. But yeah, tell us a bit more about that. How was it being a child, and how did you see God and religion?
Yeah, I mean, it was, for the most part, it was just kind of, like, I mean, there was never a question. It was just, like, what we did. Like families go to church, and, like, there wasn't a strong, I guess there was kind of a strong inclination towards it because there wasn't anything else introduced. Like, it was what we did. It was what I believed, because it was what I was taken to learn, sort of thing. And
we will be getting into this later, the fact that your mother is a Reiki master. But I'm just curious, has she always been into that sort of thing? Like, when you were a child, was that already a thing?
No, so she was raised Catholic. My dad was also raised Catholic. I think my dad kind of grew into non-religious, and she kind of grew into... I'm not sure specifically, like, if she's a massage therapist, as well as possibly other animals, because I love the animals.
Indeed, this is one thing that I really do like about you, the fact that you are an animal lover.
A lot more than people. No offense, but I mean, come on.
Yes, I understand perfectly. And as I often say, I do wish that one day you'd extend that care to chickens and cows and pigs as well.
Yeah, true. But we'll see. They're pretty delicious.
Yes. Well, I recently did a video that I think you should go and watch. I respond exactly to that statement.
Yeah, I do have it. I have it on the list. I have it on my watch later